the opportunity. One man's a waste of ammo.
Stand out of your weapons. Keep those actions clear. I'll see you on the beach.
There's a moment in your bones when the fire takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping as the battle gets closer. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming out, we can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, rocking out bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your heart silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible, 'cause we're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. Every spotlight, every soundbite, everybody who gave up is just a fuel for wanting him more than anybody against us. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now, we can be heroes.
What is up, Rio Hondo Prep football fans? Welcome back to the Southern California State Regionals. Your Rio Hondo Prep Kares are back at it again with the ultimate quest of a state championship. This next 2 weeks, California will in fact crown 15 state champions over the next 2 weeks. The regionals this week, the state finals next week. So let's see, quick math here, 15, 30, 60 teams. And does that sound right? I don't know if that sounds right or not, but there will be, let's see, 15 champs next weekend. That means 30 teams will advance. So not 30. There will be minus 15, Matt. 45 teams. Come on. Pretty easy math there, or something like that. Anyway, I was never good at math. That's why I became a podcaster. But welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Charge to Keep podcast, a state regional championship edition of the podcast. That is always odd, or I should say odd, not always, but the past 3 years for sure, a little different, coming off of championship wins in the southern section. And, you know, in the old days, that used to be it. It was like, all right, hang the banner, lace up the basketball cleats. But nowadays, you have more opportunities. It's time to put the pads back on, regroup, get back into football mode immediately. And your reward for being a CIF Southern Section champion is to go take on another section champion, in this case, the San Diego section, and what is considered the Division 2A regional of the South. There's a Northern regional, of course, up there. And for those that don't know, and I know it's a little confusing, I gotta give credit to say a shout out to our friends out there in Texas, the First Baptist Academy. I should know this. The Knights, the Lancers, I forget. Sorry, Coach. My apology on that. It's been a while. But First Baptist Academy, I talked to their coach, Jason LeBourne, who I interviewed months ago, and they're back in a state championship game. He said, congrats to you guys. And I still don't quite know how your playoffs work, but is this round? I said, yeah, we got 2 more rounds, basically, is all we can go. But we did win our section championship, which has kind of been the standard for most teams. So a 4th opportunity, we'll say, for Rio Hondo Prep to get to a state championship game and raise that trophy. It was in 2012, ironically, where Rio Hondo went for the first time to the regionals and faced Santa Fe Christian, who we will be facing this Saturday night down at Carlsbad High School. Santa Fe Christian came out on top that night, and it was the last time until 2023 that the Kares had won a CIF championship and participated in a regional. So we know 2 years ago, Kares went up to Central California, to Larry, and lost a hard-fought game there. Last year, down in Poway, San Diego County once again came out victorious for the school's first regional championship, and ultimately lost, of course, the state final 42-41 to Vanden from up north in overtime in the state championship game. So all summer we've been talking about, are you guys satisfied with back-to-back CIF championships, losing the state championship by 1 yard? This team has been resilient. They have answered the call each and every week. They've played in the state of Texas. They played in SoFi Stadium. They've played road playoff games, including another championship game on the road. They were in Europe this summer. It's been quite a journey. It really has. And we started this podcast up in the summer covering all this and asking that question, are you guys satisfied? And I think this team, most notably the senior class, has led the way and really wanted to achieve something that's never been done before. And first things first, the regional this week. I don't want anyone looking ahead to a possible state championship game next week. We'll talk about all that if we get there, if we're fortunate to get there. First things first, the Santa Fe Christian Eagles down in Carlsbad. And I do know when this matchup came out, there's a lot of guys from that era, that 2012 era, who were like, oh man, rematch time. And I know a lot of you have probably seen all my, it's Tuesday. I'm recording Tuesday. It's only Tuesday, and I've had a ton of content to put out already, whether it's Tarek Fattel's interviews, whether it's his Sports Illustrated article, the Fred Robledo article on Elijah Gavia, some stuff from Santa Fe Christian, what they've put out, kind of like, hey, we're going down memory lane with Rio Hondo back in 2013. Some of their news footage. There's going to be more throughout the week. So make no mistake about it. This is a very big game for both schools and for Southern California, really. I mean, two really good small school programs. I think Santa Fe Christian, roughly 400 plus kids. So small school, pretty much like us, not a big public school. One of the first private schools, actually the first private school we've played since we've been on this run. Remember 2023, the first round against St. Margaret's. Since then, 11 straight plus the teams we played in the state. What is that, 13 or 14 more? All big, giant public schools. So this is the first time we're kind of playing someone a little more similar to us. So the First Baptist Academy Saints, how could I forget that? Things come to me at the most rude times. Anyway, we're rooting for the Saints in Texas this weekend, because it would be great to say that you beat a Texas state champion, right? Got to have that on the resume. I mentioned Santee. They're in the state playoffs, so we played them in the regular season. Marquez, they lost the heartbreaker. So that Rio Hondo cupcake schedule everyone talks about, there's some teams that are playing pretty deep into the postseason. I keep repeating myself on that. But yeah, man, Santa Fe Christian, good football team, well-rounded. Of course, some of the news about them, one of their young men is Drew Brees' son, number 4 wide receiver. And, of course, Drew Brees, the Hall of Famer. If he's not in already, he should be or will be soon. Great Saints quarterback, also a Chargers quarterback from back in the day. So he is the quarterback coach, I believe. So back-to-back celebrity, player, parent competitions for the Kares, which is a fun stuff indeed. So we're going to have a lot of fun on this trip going down there. Thankful it's a Saturday once again. And the Kares better be ready. This is not a team you're going to walk over. We're going to break them down, look at them a little bit more towards the end of the show. Just stuff like their records and who they played. And the bottom line is this: they are 13-0, and they are the Division II San Diego section champion. I believe that's who Poway was last year. I can go back and look at that. I think there's only 5 San Diego divisions, unlike the southern section where there's 14, right? Plus 8-man divisions, which is another 2. But so 5. So if you kind of chop that up, let's call it 15. So kind of go by 3. So let's see, they would be more like a Division 4 or 5 team in like a 15 division section like us. So it's right about equal as far as the pairings go. But make no mistake about it, you're a D2 team in any section or conference. That's a big deal. So we are playing in the Division 2A state regional playoffs. So the playoff, there's an open division, Santa Margarita and Concord de la Salle. They're not even going to play a regional. That's just who are the best 2 teams. Let's go at it. And then it's 1 AA, 1A, 2 AA, 2. So we're the 5th division down, I guess you could say, of the state pairing. So last year, I believe we were 3A. So we were kind of 7 down. So it kind of anyway, just kind of evening things out or saying it how it is here. But man, 2 great guests on the show tonight. Every year I try to change things up and do it a little different. I'm like, well, the first year we were in the finals, I had like 2 shows during the semifinal week and then 3 during the finals week. And this year I just kind of, during the playoffs, I try to hit it out of the park, bring on some great guests. And in a lot of cases I said, well, let's have 2 guests on. And that's why the shows have been a little long. But I think, with the buildup and the long road trips and all this, people just chomping at the bit for content, I thought, well, I think it's great. It fits. So at least we're doing that for this year. And of course, more of the same intro tactics of mine, kind of preparing for that invasion of San Diego. Here comes Rio Hondo, man. Let's go. Let's do this, right? Who knows what's before us, but you better come ready to play, because I can promise you the Santa Fe Christian Eagles are a good football team. Again, 13-0. They like to throw it a lot more than maybe we've seen with some of these other playoff teams in the later rounds, or they spread you out, and very athletic in space. And I got to hand it once again to the Rio defense last week. And when you really break down the stats and of that game and the analysis of the fourth down stops, the interceptions, I mean, we threw for more yards than Redondo Union. I don't know if you guys realize that we threw for more yards, and we only completed 2 or 3 passes, I think. So that really goes to show you just how solid our defense was in the passing game, especially. So, man, again, what a great effort. The Kares are going to need that great effort tonight. But anyway, or this weekend, excuse me. But okay, back to our guest. Pardon me, guys. I'm all over the place. It's been a long day. We're going to first have on Scott Wideman, who was a quarterback of the 1977 Rio Hondo Prep Championship team. Again, we talked to Craig Klingman last week and talked a little bit about that 77 season. Well, we're going to talk a little more Rio football history with Scott Wideman, why that game was such a big deal in 77. Yes, it may have been 8-man and this and that, but as things unfold over the years, I think maybe 8-man now is a lot different than what it used to be. There were less divisions back then, so better players in the 8-man era. And so I think that night against Montclair Prep, there was some Division I college guys on that field for the Mounties anyway. And for Rio Hondo Prep, just a bunch of gutsy, gritty guys that pulled out the upset miracle in the triple overtime. So we won't just talk about that game, but just kind of Mr. Wideman's experience. I don't know if he still teaches at Rio, but he did for a long time. But yeah, one of the first early field generals. Love talking to the old quarterbacks and just kind of going down memory lane. So we'll do a little bit of that with Mr. Wideman. Then after that, we're going to have on Robert Morales on the show. Went to Rio and played at Rio a little bit as well. His son Christian Morales was on the 2012. I think he was on the 11 team as well. The 2 championship teams down there. His son was actually on the last team that went down to Santa Fe Christian and played in that regional. So thought it was a little relevant there. And Robert, of course, helps me out a lot with whether it's equipment or kind of helping me polish things up, making the show look better, just giving me ideas. And that is my reminder for today, that this show is brought to you by RC Productions. Robert and Chris, RC Productions, they're both big fans of Rio Hondo Prep Football, and they have been providing service to the Hollywood industry for the better part of 20 years. And man, you want to talk about the behind the stuff scene, the behind the scenes stuff that goes on to get big productions out. Well, that's where Robert and Chris come in, and I can promise you there's been a lot of that here helping on the podcast, so be sure to check them out, rcproductionrentals.com, I believe, rcproductionrentals.com, and that's who's coming on the show today. I'll let Robert talk a little bit about that, what he does, maybe how he helps out this podcast a little bit, and also how he, he has a little project that he's been working on for, we'll say about 13 years, although it's been on hiatus, and I wanted give him a chance to talk to you guys about what's going on here in the future. You've probably seen him out a lot more with his camera, and it was 13 years ago that he started up something that never got finished, but that doesn't mean it is finished by any means. So I think with the podcast starting and everything, and the success of the Rio Hondo Prep football program the past 3 years, I think it has kind of gotten him a little bit fired up to do something big for this program. Robert, of course, with a lot of great prior work in film and television and producing. And so I'll let him fill you in on all that. But again, thank you to our great friends at RC Production Rentals for sponsoring today's edition of the Charge to Keep podcast. All right. I'm a little late getting to our guest, so I'm going to go to him right now. First guest, Scott Wideman, then Robert Morales. A fun show for you guys tonight. Then I'll break down, again, just a little bit of the schedule as to who Santa Fe Christian has played. We don't know many of these teams because they're down in San Diego, but we'll look at some scores and see if we can see any tendencies or anything. And then I have a short explanation point that, something happened in our game last week that kind of caught my eye and may have not caught yours, but my eyes out there always looking at different things. So I will now step aside and bring on our first of 2 outstanding guests tonight here on the state regional edition of the Charge to Keep podcast for the pregame show, Rio Hondo Prep at Santa Fe Christian. All right, our first guest of the night from the class of 1978, I believe, but the quarterback of the 1977 Rio Hondo Prep CIF champions, Scott Wideman. All right, now joining me as promised is Scott Wideman from the class of 1978 at Rio Hondo Prep, quarterback of the 1977 Rio Hondo Prep Kares, who won the CIF Championship. And as I sit here recording with him, it just hit me, Mr. Wideman, we got the first eight-man championship quarterback and the last eight-man championship quarterback right here on the Charge to Keep podcast. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Amen. Amen. Not much. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, Mr. Wyman. Looking forward to a fun uh, regional championship game once again down in San Diego. Did you get a chance to attend or at least see the game in Redondo last week?
I did not. I watch on NFHS. You guys do a
Okay.
great job, and makes me a homebody. But the Parkinson's, it's hard to get out at night sometimes. I was at their last game. We played these guys many moons ago. My son was on the team. He was a
Perfect.
freshman or something like that, so he didn't get to play. The fog bowl, we couldn't tackle the one kid.
We couldn't tackle the one. That's right. They ran that option. Yeah. So you remember the 2012 game down in San Diego, super foggy against the Santa Fe Christian Eagles.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it was a great game. I was the first foray into the States, so.
Yeah. First time. And that was coming off of, at the time, I want to say, arguably the best team, we had at the time. That 2012 group was really, really special going back to back. And then, I don't know, Mr. Wyman, those guys were amazing. What we've seen the past 3 years from Rio football, though, I don't know, they may have risen above that. What do you think about the current 3-year run this team is on?
It's tremendous. I'm slack-jawed watching these guys. I don't know how they do it. About 10 years ago, you say, yeah, we could play with these guys. We could play with these guys. My team, And I look at these guys, we can run off the field in 10 seconds. It's just, they're like robots. The offensive line is just amazing. I don't know how they do it. They're moving big people.
They are. Some of the still photos are fantastic to see. These guys are just fearless, and you're an honest man. I like that. We all believe we could do the same thing or wanted the opportunity, but these guys to do it 3 years in a row, playing all basically giant public schools, big giant teams, big rosters. I mean, this really has taken Rio Hondo Prep football, which was already a great tradition, into a new era, hasn't it? These past 3 years.
Yeah, it's a special class, a senior class. They've been good for 3 years. But I was listening to the Fatal guy on TV or on YouTube. Every one of these schools with 1,500 or more kids. It's 3,000. I was a coach. I should be able to find enough kids to beat us, but our system is just too good, I guess.
That is an all-time quote. Yeah, if I had that, you think you'd get enough guys to beat us. Well said. I mean, we're getting all kinds of press. Obviously, the podcast helps too. But what these guys have done, I want to talk because kind of the purpose of the podcast was, yes, support the current team, but also to look back at the past and understand that this program is not just something that's been going on for the last 3 years. It's been going on for 60 years, basically. And no matter the level, it feels like Rio Hondo Prep football has been successful. Hasn't had too many losing seasons, no matter what. So as someone who's really watched a lot of Rio football over the past few decades, I mean, what could you speak to kind of the program, where it started to where it's at now?
Oh, brother. It's always been pretty good, actually. Armin Mathkamp, the original guy, he would run for 3,000 yards or something like that. Steve Hershey, Steve Martin. Those are 6-man days where they ran for over 2,000 yards, passed for 1,000. We've always been small, but we've always been, I think, well coached. You mentioned Mr. Johnson in our pregame warm-up here. I think he was a genius. But we had Mr. Work was running the show 2 years before I got there. He was an excellent X and O's guy, but he didn't have a vision. Mr. Johnson kind of had a vision how he wanted to do it. They had a real tight line, which they still do. Johnson Jr. running it. And we'd run sweeps, so they'd move everybody out, and we'd run up the middle. It's just amazing. I'm not saying we've always been very good. We coached really well. So
What? Yeah, that goes without saying. Mr. Dowd, Mr. Johnson, Ken Drain, Mark Carson, the stability of it all, and Mr. Lunny. Oh my goodness, right? You want to talk about defense and the Kares. I'm sure he's smiling proudly after this playoff run. You know, the last 3 games allowing 7, 6, and 0. It's pretty amazing, and those guys are relentless out there flying around the ball.
I was chewing my fingernails to the nubs before the game, and after I was like, "What did they get that for?" 36-0. You know, it was a boring game. The game's got even more boring as we go along.
It's been impressive. It's been impressive to see them get stronger as the playoffs go on, and we're going to need a great effort this weekend down in San Diego. You mentioned Mr. Johnson. Yeah, I don't think people realize it. Randall Johnson Sr., Randy's son, or Randy's father, was the architect of all this, really. And it's cool with Randy calling the plays. He's brought in obviously a lot of new tactics and things like that. But you do see that Rio football from the 1970s at a much higher level. You see it all, as you mentioned, a lot of the similar formations and ideas. And so that's really cool to see that it's lasted the test of time.
Yeah, and he has the ability to call the right play at the right time too. It's to make those reverses
the passes. I mean, we had a few passes.
Or low, or those guys are. But,
oh yeah, sorry, we froze up there a bit. Yeah, well, maybe it's my internet connection. It's not your fault. But yeah, his ability to call the right play at the right time is amazing. And I don't know, for some of those things, it's just in the blood, right? Maybe Randall Johnson and Randy Johnson, they just got some magic sauce in their blood. I don't.
Yeah, there's a sarcasm gene too. So
okay, let's talk about that, please. Mr. Johnson, Randy, and Randall. I think current players understand what we're talking about there. Randall knew how to get to you with a point, right? Put you down in a way. But if you got any examples or just kind of explanations for his personality?
He was never very cuddly, put it that way. But he always knew he loved you. But the compliments are few and far between. I heard you say talking about missing the handoff 7 times in a row or something.
Yes.
It'd be nice to play right once. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me that. Yeah, I was like a freshman, and then back then we practiced varsity JV still, and this is the legend, Randall Johnson, and I was so nervous. You know, we're running just toss plays, and I tossed it too hard, and he was just like, you know, Hersema, we can't move on to other things until you figure this one out. And I'm just like, okay, yes, sir. So
I do these fake handoffs, wild motions with my arms or whatever. He mocked me for it, but it worked. He said, keep doing it. So
that's really funny. And Mr. Wideman, what do you remember? You watched some of the great players, of course, as you mentioned there in the 60s, and then championship team in 1973 after losing 72. Were you a Cary League kid looking up to these guys, a junior high kid looking up to these? Did you have that experience that so many of us did back then?
Yeah, I had a brother, Clay. He was a little older than me. He's about 5 years older than me. And he played through JVs. And then he went to Monrovia later. But I had to go watch his games. I was, in the gang out there playing behind the bleachers. But I remember going to the 72 game where we lost because of field goal kicking. Scored more touchdowns, but lost. Froze my cojones off there because I had a windbreaker on and it was like 62 degrees and the wind was blowing. That was a really tough one. But then the next year they won. Steve Hershey ran wild. I couldn't believe it. Get big old honking guys on Faith Baptist or Baptist with another team. Guys are 6'9", 80,000 pounds, and we had these little rabbits running around. 6 man, big guys are useless in the game. So, and I remember my sophomore year watching us play Montclair at home. And this guy named Al Rivers was 6'5", 250, and he was no fat. So I'm drinking my Coke in the batting cage watching the game. I'm not going out there next year. No way, dude. but I made it. So
Yeah, and now the some of the strategy we'll say is like our current senior class. Most of them had to play as freshmen. They didn't have a choice to sit back and watch. We threw them in. I mean, they were all
yeah,
starting. So the experience has really paid off for this current group. Whereas in the past, you sat and waited a little bit. But in kind of the current years, if they need you, you're out there, right?
yeah, definitely. That's why I think they would have killed us because they had those reps at varsity level. We had one varsity team in the year before when I was a sophomore. Our varsity was all juniors: Dan Kirby, Greg Loomis. They got their heads kicked in. So the next year we were really good because they got their heads kicked in the year before. Then we had Peter Amundsen, John Dunya, Jim Key. All of them very good. We should have won that Montclair game. One guy sucked in on a kickoff return. We lost 26-20 or something like that, 32-30.
Mm. See, that's the thing about those 8-man games back then. Anyway, it seemed like, other than your championship game, which is triple overtime, but the games were relatively similar to 11-man back in those days, as far as 26-20, or it wasn't this up and down track meet like 6-man even. So, the evolution of it all changed. But yeah, that 76 team. I mean, they kind of go almost unforgotten in some ways. You mentioned Peter Amundsen, Jim Key, Greg Loomis. I mean, when they lost that game and you guys were seniors and you were looking at the devastation in them, that their football careers were over, did you kind of remember that throughout the year, the summer, in preparation for 77?
Definitely. They helped us practice too. They'd come out and some of them would suit up and beat up us on us. It really helped. They helped that way. But yeah, I remember the feeling, man, we were the eyelash of the championship game, and Montclair went on to beat the team they played. Just, whipped them up. Upside. That was the championship game, basically, in the semis. So yeah, we were ready. I wasn't nervous either when we played them next year. So
well,
usually
I
I was
think
nervous for them.
it probably helped the fact that you played them in the regular season and then obviously the championship. You lost in the regular season, so it was 12-0 versus 11-1 or whatever it was. So did that help, the fact that you saw them all the time?
Yeah, it helped. It gave me a little extra ammunition because I was the GOAT in the loss. Not the GOAT as in the GOAT. It was the GOAT.
Yeah, goat used to mean a real negative term, like, oh, you're the opposite of the hero, right?
Right. Well, in the papers, I was the GOAT, the hero, but at the game, I was really the loser. I called the play that became an interception for a touchdown.
Oh,
And then Klingman talked to you last week about the punt that bounced over my head. I missed the punt, didn't hit my helmet, it bounced behind me. So I turned around and bounced over my head again. And the guy got it on the 20-yard line. They went and scored. We lost by 26-20. I gave him 2 touchdowns, basically. So,
oh man.
and in the paper, I was great. I threw 100 yards and ran for 80 more. Ooh, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you remember
the team hated me.
Yeah, I remember the bad stuff. So you lose to these guys, and when you lost that game, during the handshakes and everything, did you know immediately we're going to play these guys again?
Yeah, we pretty much knew that. We didn't know when. We were hoping it'd be the last one. But if we met them in the quarters, we would have played hard. So,
no doubt, no doubt. Well, I before we talk about that game, I do want to say that in a couple of years it will be the 50th anniversary of that group, that team, one of the we've had some, yeah, 50 50 years. I know. There have been plenty of great games in Rio history. The Santa Monica game obviously comes to mind. Do you remember a couple years ago we did the 50-year thing for Rio's first championship, the 73? I thought that was phenomenal. What did you think about that? Look, you knew those guys.
I thought it was tremendous. All the whole team was alive and kicking. It was really good. I'm hoping to make it hard.
You can do it.
No,
hey.
it was fantastic.
Yeah. We got to do more stuff like that. That was just a random idea I had, and then John Martin, everyone threw it together, and I was like, oh yeah, well, let's do this. So I think that'll be something in the works for the 70. Yeah, I talked it into existence on the podcast. I just said, hey, it's been 50 years. We should do something, or it'd be nice to win a championship too after 50 years. So here we are. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool to see. And those guys talking to Steve Hershey, those guys were when they showed up at Care Park that night, they were kids again. It was so
Yeah,
cool. I can't explain it any other way but to see it in their eyes. It was awesome.
it was. We're talking. All our guys are talking about it. We're
Yeah.
ready to do it. So
I
just
mean, you
got to make
got
sure.
let's see. I see your shirt 77. I mean, you guys played in that game together, uh, whether juniors, seniors, whatever. You guys have a special bond. We've always seen it. There's so many care leaders who've been around who played in that game. If you can now talk about the build up to that 77 game. And I mean, there's no way you knew it was going to be some triple overtime thriller, but just kind of the mindset and maybe some of your teammates and going into that game, what the buildup was like.
Well, we thought we had a pretty good shot at it. We're really bummed about Fuller's situation. He was
Ken
the
Fuller
best
was
player
injured,
by
right?
far, in that division. He played middle linebacker. He did a good job, but he was just head and shoulders above everybody. He couldn't play. But we had Gary Shitaku, very good backup. He made 7 yards to carry out in that game.
Forgive me,
Yeah, we
forgive me,
weren't
Mr.
nervous.
Forgive me, Mr. Wyman. Just to interrupt on that point, I think it's relatable to the current team. And again, Noah Peninari is a game time decision. But was Ken Fuller similar to someone like Noah, where he was the best guy on both sides of the ball for your team in a sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
So it's very similar.
the wordy kid, a little bit of a rough home life. He was very nice, personable when you were friendly, playing recess, whatever. Game time, he was all business, all business.
Love that.
And one time, when we were juniors, I think, man, he played middle linebacker. Some guy kept coming out to block him. He getting in his legs and hitting him in the knees. He said, "Stop it, stop, cut it out." And about the fourth, fifth time, he just broke the kid's collarbone. He just ran into him hard as he could, took him out, and problem solved. But this kind of guy, it wasn't mean. It wasn't anything dirty. He just hit him as hard as he could.
Hey,
Stop
he
hitting
asked
me.
nicely. He asked nicely. That didn't
He
work.
did.
So
Yeah.
you got to
They quit hitting
go
my
on other.
knees, man. They quit hitting me. So, but
So
he
so
was the
so
kind of guy.
Fuller was banged up.
Yeah. One more story about him. I probably told you this before, but he's running down. He's doing like a sweep, and he gets past everyone. There's one guy to beat. About 10 yards from the end zone, he races the ball like he's going to pass it, and the guy jumps. He just runs right by him. Well, who would think to fake a pass, 10 yards from the end zone? But he did it. It's like, wow.
Interesting.
Anyway, what do you want me to do? I'm sorry.
No worries. Ken, it just struck me when you mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, arguably
He's just
our best guys, similar
physically
things.
better
So,
than everybody, but he had it up here too. So
but well, that's a dangerous combination. That speaks volumes. I hear what you're saying there. So he was down. So other than that, I mean, you had a great group of guys: Gary Shintaku, Chuck Mariotti, Mike McGarren, Jim Hanna. I mean, I'm just throwing out names here. You throw out as many as you want. You got Dr. Doug Walsh. I mean, who I've talked to before. You had a great group of guys on that team.
I'll tell you this: we could have put myself, Mariotti, and Shintaku on the line, put McGarren, Jim Hanna, and Craig Klingman in the backfield, and we've been the same team. Really, they're athletes at every position. Yeah. So, I mean, he started out beginning of the year having McGarren play tailback in like scrimmages and practice. He was awesome, but he was really good at center too. So, Mr. Johnson made all the right calls, but like Klingman had a really good arm. He was a little shorter than me, but he has a great arm. I don't know if he wanted to do the job or not, but my big claim to fame was the meat grinder run up the middle. So
Yeah, what in the world? How in the world did you guys come up with the quarterback sneak being your best play? I mean, you guys needed a first down, and not just 1 yard. You guys would do it for 5, 6, 7 yards. I mean, the tush push before that was famous. It was the Wideman meat grinder, I guess you'd call it.
yeah, I don't know. Mr. Johnson loved that play. It worked. Those guys are all
Quarterback
hard
sneak.
nosed. Our linemen. I've said that they're athletes. They're meaner than a junkyard dog, and we just ran for 5 yards every time.
Yeah. Hey, something's never changed. Something's never changed. That's great to hear. Now, there was a little bit of
Right.
overconfidence, we'll say, from Montclair Prep. Something they had beat you already, so they took the game was at Care Field, but they took something into their own hands going into the game that obviously we thank them for now, right? Later on.
Yeah, definitely. They beat us 2 times in a row, so they probably thought, well, what's one more? Every game was close though, so I, I think they were ready for a good game. They probably thought they were going to win, but they should have too. I don't.
Yeah,
200
well, they
yards
should have.
from each running back.
You eat two running backs with 200 yards each 8-man days there. But they a little
Yeah,
little overconfident and hired a professional film crew. Is that correct?
yeah. I guess you can say that was overconfidence. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm glad they did though, because I've watched it 500 times.
Yeah, we've got some great shots. They put it to music and this and that. So I mean, cameras all over Care Field. I mean, we've had
I think he
some
had 4 cameras.
4 cameras, man. That's in 1977. And if you haven't watched it on YouTube, obviously you got to. It's fantastic, and it seems like it's in fast forward the whole time. Were you guys really that fast, or was that fast forward?
Oh, we're fast, man. Yeah, we're fast. No, we're just average guys, but um, it's hard to watch because our field lights were like 3 candle power. It was a
Yeah,
yellow field.
it was yellow. The helmets are yellow.
I'm surprised that I guess they were overconfident. They should have asked for a neutral field or something. But it's kind of a nice stadium, when everybody's there.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I guess they estimated 2,000 people on the bank side anyway.
yeah. It's
2,000 people at that game, which is big for an eight man.
well, and you've seen countless
Our
championships at
sidelines now look like
our
the lights
sidelines. Look
messing me
what?
up.
Sorry.
Our sidelines look like almost a normal football team now. We had
Mm.
13 guys. We brought up like 6 for the playoffs, but we had 10 people that really played. So
13. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. And you have seen plenty of games at Care Field there. The 11-man championships, the 2001 wasn't triple overtime, but ours was single overtime. That was a pretty wild one.
that was
As far as
fantastic.
what's
Your
that?
guys, they came in overconfident against you too, right? You guys weren't favored, right?
Oh no, they were undefeated. We had 3
Some big
losses,
running back,
and
Robinson or
yeah,
something.
remember the big lightning bolt they put up, and oh man,
Yeah,
that was
that was
wild.
awesome.
Was that a
That
little
was,
flashback? Was that a little flashback for you guys, the 77 guys, kind of that game and how it went down?
yeah, it was nerve wracking for sure. Yeah, it
That was
wasn't
a
in the
fun one.
running back. Robinson.
Colin Woodbury. Colin
Oh, Colin.
Woodbury.
Okay,
Yes.
somebody else had to deal with Robinson.
Yes. Well, you guys played two. Who were the 2 running backs in that game for Montclair?
Willie Hurst and Mark Harper.
And they went on to have careers, didn't they?
I don't know. I didn't follow him. I think Willie Hurst's son played up in Washington,
Yes, that's right.
but
That's right. His son. Wow.
never
Well,
heard about
as
him.
that game unfolded, back and forth, you guys had a lead. Then all of a sudden, you kind of blow the lead. They come back. Then they're in control. They're in charge. And I don't know. You run through the highlights of it, if you will, or take us to kind of the end and the play. But yeah, just give us a rundown of the championship game there.
Well, we were overconfident, I guess, coming out second half because we did diddly squat the whole half. It was 31-20 at half, and it was 38-31 with our teeth chattering at the end. And so they get down to the 2-yard line. Bullinger makes his big tackle on the 6-inch line or whatever it is. We do a quarterback sneak for 9 yards. Mariotti sweep for 5. Another quarterback sneak for 5 more. Mariotti for 3. Another quarterback sneak for 5. And Mariotti gets stuffed on the 3rd down, about 1 yard, 1.5 yards from glory, first down. But the clock's ticking too. There's only 4 minutes left. Or no, we started our drive with 4 minutes left, so it's probably about 2 something. Mr. Johnson says, he calls timeout, 4th down, whatever. come over there. He goes, "Can you keep your legs wide open this time?" We tried it early in the game. But some kind of penalty was called. We did something wrong. So yeah, just make sure your legs are wide, and then after your shirt's gone through your legs, surge forward. It faked everyone out. The corner kind of touched Chuck, but that was it. And he cruised down the sidelines and the big dive. I like the slow motion side angle of that one. If you get a chance to watch that, people, it's really cool. So they tie it up, and Craig has to make the kick, which,
pressure.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
We hadn't kicked all year until like the playoffs. So anyway, yeah, Mariotti was kicking. He didn't do too well, and Craig had been practicing anyway. You heard Craig's story last week. So anyway, we get to overtime. See, they score right away. We score, threw it past the Klingman, he touchdown, tied it up. Then the next one we go first, and the next one we didn't score. And then they run down to the 2-yard line. I barely got there, knocked the guy out of bounds on the 2, so it's 3rd and 2. We're oh man, we're dead. If they score, they win. And ran Willie Hurst, who has 200 yards in the game. We haven't stopped him more than once for less than 5 yards. We ran him up the middle twice, and we nailed him. I don't know what happened. Angels among us.
Amen.
We weren't that beefy on the line. We're small dudes. They had a guy 230 pounds, and they ran right behind him, and we stopped him twice. So then they had to go again, and that was the big interception by Jim Hanna. And we went, and Mariotti made it, and I jumped 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, the dive to Mariotti for the walk-off. He ties the game up, and then he walks it off with the dive. You got some serious air on that, Mr. Wideman, when the referees raise their hands for the touchdown. Take me through the feeling of you hand the ball off. You finally, we saw you jump, but just that ecstatic feeling of, man, we finally did it. We are champions.
Yeah, that was amazing. I look at myself and I go, what an idiot. Run around with my helmet off, my hand in the air. It was elation, I just hugging guys. I don't know. Where do you go from there? That's your last memory of football.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a good one to have. So I remember the year before. I remember the year before that night too. Felt bad for all those guys that we should have had lifted the trophy too, but
yeah,
it was not to be.
And you ended with the perfect ending, really, the perfect walk-off in a sense. And for everyone, you take that helmet off the last time, and it's never easy. But I don't know, just in knowing all these years and watching the countless generations of Rio that have followed you, does it feel nice that you still feel a part of it, even though you're not playing anymore? Obviously, you got to see your kids play, you got to see kids you coach play, but Rio Hondo Prep Football and just the tradition that it is all these decades later.
Yeah, it's a family. Like, I think you had Ethan Lowe on there. He just said we feel like a family.
Yeah,
I feel like they're all still my family. Met some guys on the sidelines. I know who they were. They knew who I was, but we weren't, 20 years apart. Easy to talk to them, and just family. It was just amazing.
family and
I don't have any words for it, but it's special.
mm-hmm.
I don't think you get that at other schools. 50 years on, and you watch a game and you can talk to a guy 30 years younger than you. Remember the time Mr. Johnson kicked me out of the game,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. I say it all. It's unlike anything else. We talk brotherhood. Other teams say that. Tradition. I don't know that there's another tradition like Rio Hondo Prep Football. I just don't. I can't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, you just score a touchdown, you handball the ref like you've been there before. It's amazing. The other teams are whooping and hollering, and we do the jump chest bump thing, but that's great. I mean, you got to be excited, but it's never look at me. It's here you go, ref.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a great point.
Yeah.
It's an outstanding point. It's some things are just that stood the test of time, which is fantastic. Mr. Wideman, you retired from teaching now. You coach still in Care Youth League out there at Russell Park, where I fell in love with sports, and When you look at this team, I think a reason so many of them why they've been so successful is because these kids started at a very young age in Cary Youth League. And not only that, a lot of teams have, but this team, it seems like they've kept so many of those kids who went through the care
Yeah.
program. I grew up with so many guys that ended up leaving, going other places, and God bless them, Godspeed. But I don't know if Rio is able to keep more Care Youth League kids to attend Rio. Do you foresee more success like this?
It hasn't been the way of the world, but if it could, we could be great. Yeah, but
Yeah.
the call of the big power, whatever they are, schools, it's big.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's my class kept a lot of those guys. Craig Klingman, Doug Walsh, Ken Fuller. I think that's why we won. We got a lot of the guys that could play ball. They came and they stayed. I mean, Ken would have been a rock star wherever he went.
Yeah.
Chuck Mariotti, Rick McGarren. Craig Klingman, not so much.
I think he would
I'm
say
kidding.
that. I love teammate jabs. Teammate jab. Nothing like him. Oh, it's fantastic. Even 50 years
Craig
later.
was great. Craig was great.
Well, yeah, I think that's it'd be nice to keep more guys, but hey, we'll see how it goes. I think this group has been very special. I'll wrap it up with you now, Mr. Wideman. If you could, we've talked a little bit about it already, but as I kind of asked so many people, Rio Hondo Prep Football, why is it special? Why is it different? Why does it continue to be important to you almost 50 years after you wore that uniform?
Well, football is a man's game. It makes a man out of you. I think it's good for young men to play that, learn discipline. That's why Rio wins a lot. Discipline. Do what you're told. But I love the family aspect of it too, and putting God first, putting God in the center. The message really should be putting God in the center of everything you do, and you will prosper. I don't know. Just family is really the word I come up with.
Amen to that. Well, thank you so much for your time tonight, for taking us down memory lane a little bit, and for your continued support of Rio Hondo Prep Football. Two possible 2 games to go, hopefully. But this Saturday down in San Diego is the first test, and hopefully we're leaving there a little more positive than we did 13 years ago. 2 games, regional this week, and
2 games in state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regional. So
I won't make the San Diego trip. I hope I'll make the next one.
well, we'll have the broadcast.
Thank you for what you do. I really appreciate the podcast and all the hard work you put into it. It's amazing. And
Thank you so much.
Who'd have sunk?
Who?
Better watch out. You're going to get offers. ABC's coming for you.
ABC's coming. Yes, they are. Well, I'm under contract with Rio Hondo Prep, so no Lane Kiffin
ESPN.
moves here. No, no Lane Kiffin moves here. So, Mr.
Our
Wideman, thank you.
Our money's not that good.
Hey, we don't do it for the money. That's for sure. This contract has better things on it.
Yeah.
We'll get that broadcast up for you. Enjoy the game Saturday, Mr. Wideman. Go Rio, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Matt.
Well, thank you so much, Scott Wideman, for coming on the show. The quarterback in the 1977 CIF Champions at Rio Hondo Prep. Great to see him. Great to chat Rio football with him. And, for so many years, Mr. Wideman was down there at the Russell Park. It'll always be Wingate to me. But whether, he's open in the club rooms and the offices and the snack shack there, the office where you can get your soda and a candy bar, good times are at Wingate Park. Mr. Wideman, if you saw his white pickup truck down there towards the buildings, you knew the buildings were open, and you'd hustle over there and go dive into again the snack shack. But the club rooms, just everything. Mr. Wideman's a hardcore Cary Youth League Cardinal. Back in the days when it was in the East, Gators, Tigers, and Cardinals. He's still a go-cards kind of guy, and he's coaching young men still there at Cary Youth League. So doing a heck of a job, and just a lifelong Rio Hondo supporter, lifelong Care Youth League leader, coach that so many people, I think, can look up to and or have looked up to and still do. So thank you again, Scott Wideman, for coming on the show and getting us ready for some Rio Hondo Prep football this weekend. We are also going to be joined tonight by Robert Morales as promised. So let's go to him, bring him on the show, chat about his days at Rio, his tie-ins with his son going there, and of course the little bit of news or info about some projects that are upcoming in the near future that Robert will fill us in there. And again, last time, his son's high school career ended down there in San Diego against Santa Fe Christian. So we'll chat about that a little bit too. And just I don't know, great chatting with Robert. Him and I are diehards at this point. We get to Rio games, 4 hours early if we can on these Saturdays, and we just try to enjoy every bit of it and set up shop. And man, can't thank him enough for all the things that he's doing. So let's bring him on now. It is my privilege to now bring on Robert Morales, who again, him and his brother Chris are RC Production Rentals as a sponsor of this show multiple times over, and has been a great aspect, a great addition to the show and helping me with things. So we'll talk a little bit about the podcast, Rio football, and everything in between there. I think you guys will really enjoy this as we get ready for the state regional this Saturday. All right, here he is, Mr. Robert Morales. All right, joining us from Van Nuys or somewhere thereabouts is Robert Morales, my good friend and sponsor generally of the podcast for the Charge to Keep podcast here with RNC Production Rentals. Robert Morales, what's up, man? I've been trying to get you on the show a long time. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a whole season. You finally got me. It took the state round to get me here.
Exactly. I knew it'd require, the brightest of lights to bring you on, since you're usually a guy behind the camera, but anyway, Robert, just while I got you here to start, RNC Production Rentals, you've graciously been a sponsor, you and Chris there. If you could tell us about the company, how long you've been there. I always give you the pitch, but from you and Chris, if you could tell us about your company and what you're doing now.
We started the company back in 2004. My brother and I both work in the commercial film industry, and we kind of worked our way up from production assistants up to where we are now. And back in 2004, we started a little rental company out of a garage in Culver City, and now we have a 7,500 square foot warehouse in Van Nuys, and we service the commercial film industry. That's kind of our thing.
Wow. So anytime there's a filming of a commercial or film, TV, whatever, your services are required to come, show up, and bring whatever they need. They rent it for a day or how long the shoot is, and anything they need, you're supposed to have.
Yeah, we do like the tables, the chairs, the canopies, coolers. They need air conditioners. They need radios, walkie-talkies, like all of that stuff. Yeah, for as long as they need it.
That's pretty awesome. And as someone who's, I'm sure, had your fair share of filming as well, you never know when you might need something. So that's kind of your line of work, right? If they need, you never know what they might need, but you better have it.
Yep, absolutely. And if we don't have it, we find it for them.
It's absolutely a perfect segue into football, because it's kind of like a high school football sideline, most notably a Rio Hondo football sideline. I mean, you got Mr. French out there with the ball warmer, you got us setting up our lights and canopies and things. So your line of work kind of helps the Rio Hondo sideline in a way sometimes.
Yeah, just tell me what you need and I'll have it there. Tell me what time and it'll be early, and yeah, we'll have everything you need.
Fantastic. Well, you sound like a former Care Youth League Rio Hondo guy, Robert. What was your background with Care and Rio Hondo Prep? When did you start? Kind of, what was your experience like?
I was actually trying to think about it today. I think I started back in '84, maybe. I think I was 13. I kind of remember that year more than others. It was like the Olympic year. I remember being in Care and going to the Olympics. I think we went and saw a soccer game at the Rose Bowl, which was huge. And then, Care put on their own track meet. I'm not sure they do that anymore, but they used to do the track meet every year. And it was Olympic themed that year. I think I got to run the torch into the arena, which was a huge thing. You're 13 years old. You think that's like the biggest thing ever. It was actually me and I think Joe Parks. We ran it in together. Yeah, I was probably 13. He was probably 12. And yeah, that was one of my first memories there. Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty awesome. Joey Parks, he might be making an appearance on the podcast very, very soon. That's all I'll say. I saw Joe in Texas. I think he lives up in Bakersfield now. So yeah, I didn't know you guys were similar in age. Great guy. I know he follows Rio Hondo Prep quite a bit. Did you see him out in Texas as well?
I did. Yeah, I went to the Texas game and I saw him. I'm really surprised to see him. He made I think a 3 hour drive to get there, which speaks to the Rio Hondo faithful and what they're willing to do to go see a game.
Yeah,
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
yeah. I think Robert, there's no venue too far for this program.
Yeah.
Whether it's, I mean, talk to me about that Texas game. Just while we're on the subject, that team, by the way, is in the state championship again for the third straight year. So we're rooting on the Saints. But man, when I looked in the stands and I saw, you and I talked about this, but at Armin Mascamp, he's looking out and he's going, "This is unbelievable." That was the most impressive road trip showing I've ever seen for Rio Hondo, and that's really saying something.
Yeah. There was, I mean, I don't know the numbers, probably 300 people, maybe more. Yeah, for an away game in Texas. Yeah, pretty phenomenal. And also a great game, great venue, great. They were great hosts. It was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I get used to getting on an airplane to go watch a real game. That's all I'm saying. So
Yeah,
let's try to
yeah,
do that some more. So, Robert, we're going to talk a little bit about real football. Big game Saturday, of course, and kind of tying it into you being on the show. Santa Fe Christian down in San Diego. We were there 13 years ago, and your son happened to be on that team. An
yeah.
unfortunate loss in the regional, but I don't know how cool is it for you that we're going back there and just kind of tying it into your son Christian and his time at Rio.
Yeah, that was the last game those seniors played was on that field. Yeah, it's actually in the little documentary thing that I was working on. That's the last scene in that. It's the kids kind of walking off into the fog. That was shot on that field. Yeah, in a loss to Santa Fe Christian. So yeah, hopefully we get to turn that around.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I think I got all kinds of texts from guys from that era that were like, "Hey, time revenge time," and this and that, and even
Yep.
hey, Santa Fe Christian even knows about it. They posted some stuff about it already. Hey, 13 years ago, this and that. So, yeah, another thing we wanted to talk about here is that documentary that was started back in 2012, 13 years ago, titled "Cares," a film by Robert Morales. If you could take me back to then and the genesis of how it all came about as someone with your background and then what happened to it to where we're still talking about it today.
Uh, yeah, it was always kind of something I had in the back of my mind that I wanted to do way back from when I first started watching Rio Hondo games. I thought it was a just an interesting story. Once my son started playing, they were on a good team, kind of similar to the team now, where they back-to-back champs and a great, group of seniors. And yeah, so in the 2012 season, I believe grabbed a camera. I borrowed a camera from a couple of vendors that I knew, and I would go out and interview. I interviewed a bunch of coaches, some reporters, and just anyone I could find. Shot a bunch of B-roll, kind of put together that little trailer in anticipation of finishing the film, and then kind of never did. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of work to make a documentary. Uh, so yeah, it was kind of sidelined, I guess, for a while, and then I don't know, the idea kind of like resurfaced in my head, like I wanted to kind of finish it off. Uh, and like thinking back on it now, I think that it almost would have been a shame to end it in 2012, right? I mean, I kind of like got uh, the urge to like tell the story again with this new group of seniors now, right? 3 years ago, they win championship. I'm like, wow, what a great story. And then they go back to back and they go to state. And I was like, man, this is a great story. Like, this is it. This is the ultimate story, right? They lose by 1 point in the finals, like this little school from Arcadia. I was it. I was ready to do it. Let's do it. And then here we are a year later, and now they're back to back to back and playing in the state championship again. So it's like a story that never stops. And I guess at some point I'm just going to have to kind of do it.
At some, well, you better hurry, Robert, because I've already heard lots of people talking about, hey, when's the
Okay.
movie getting pitched and who's going to play Coach Carson in the movie and stuff like that. So I don't know. Time is of the essence, my friend.
Yep. I know. I feel the pressure.
Well, I will say, just kind of coming full circle with all this, when we talk about the podcast, like I was always a talk radio guy, and then I got into discovered podcasts, not too long ago. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Listen at your convenience. I was always behind in everything. And then I remember your documentary trailer, and I remember it as and thinking, man, I can't wait for this. This is great. We're finally going to get Rio Hondo out on the map and get it out into the masses. And I will be honest with you, and you know this, it had a lot to do with why I started this podcast. And it was like, yeah, that exactly right there. That it was motivation. There was some other things too. I was like, the Dodgers have a channel, the Lakers have a channel, we should have a channel type of deal. And I don't know, it was motivation. So it's kind of fun for me that it's become full circle in a sense, and that you and I have become close, and you and I are just Rio Hondo football junkies now, just trying to get the best content out there at all times.
Total junkies. Yeah, huge supporter of you and the show, and I love everything you do, and I definitely wanted to be a part of it once I saw it. Yeah, you're doing good things, bringing us all together.
Well, and that ultimately was the goal. I wanted the past, present, and future Rio, but also, you know how it was in maybe the past, Robert. Like I had classmates that, when you graduate Rio, there's kind of this weird moment in time where you're like, well, are you involved? Are you not? You move on with your life. But then I don't know. It's just kind of a way that I wanted people to feel welcome to come back and be like, no, 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 let's support this football team. I knew there was a need for it. It was just kind of, no, 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 come on, guys. It'll be all right. Everyone, we're all the same. We're all cares. If we truly are cares, then we should be able to do this. So what was it
Yeah.
like for you kind of hearing about the podcast, coming back after what, 13 years, or not 13, maybe 11 years or so, and kind of getting
Yeah.
more involved?
Yeah, I mean, I followed the team, again through the, newspapers and whatever online info I could find. But I think Mark and I were kind of always close. We would talk at least once a season and kind of catch up. I remember interviewing him back when I was doing the documentary, and kind of, he wasn't the head coach yet, but there was that sense that he was going to be the head coach. Like, he just had that energy about him, kind of the vision for the future of what the program could be. So yeah, I think that ever since then, like, I've just kind of been, yeah, like super motivated and like wanting to see, yeah, all the games. And now that it's on television, it makes it super easy. I don't even have to go to all the games, uh, being so far away. But yeah, it's great. And of course, what you've done with the podcast, bringing people together, it's been really great.
Well, Mark's a dear friend of mine, and he and I were always kind of talking and dreaming about, man, what could Rio Hondo Prep football be someday? And we got a great foundation, great history. Like, man, let's push this thing. And it's just so funny that how we interact now. Him being the head coach, doing all the hard work, of course, and me just stating the obvious sometimes. What were your earliest memories of Rio football, Robert? I'm sure you were that Cary Youth League kid looking up to Rio Hondo heroes like the rest of us. Talk to me about your experience.
Yeah. The earliest experience, and I don't even know what year it was. Maybe it was an 83, 82 game. I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know the exact time, but I remember. So the back in the day, there was a thing called the shed out in, like, behind one of the end zones, right? Where they used to like store equipment. And there was this space, like almost like a crawl space on top of like some refrigerators or something that used to be out there. And I remember as a kid, like, we all got up on top of the refrigerator because it was pouring rain, and looking out onto the field as this, it might have even been a playoff game. I have no idea. And it might have been like Paul Clark might have been playing then. I know it was raining because we were under this cover on top of like a refrigeration system out in that, shed out there by the end zone. That was probably my first, yeah, the first game I could probably remember seeing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you remember kind of as a kid or however old you were looking up? I mean, for so many, you still see it today. I saw it this last weekend at the Southern Section Championship. So many kids there just wanting to get on the field and look at their guy, the guys they coach with or who coach
Yeah.
them. Just kind of that feeling of, man, I don't know if you're a football guy, but just kind of like, man, it'd be great to do that someday.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. I mean, the kids being able to coach the younger kids while they're in high school. Uh, yeah, I remember as a going to school there and being a coach. I used to coach for the Gators, and yeah, the kids, yeah, they loved it. I mean, they would come to the games. They wanted your wristbands. Yeah, and we weren't actually that good at the time, but it didn't matter because we were on a football field and playing under the lights, and they're 6, 7 years old. Like it's a big deal.
You're heroes, man. You go
Yeah,
from looking up to guys to in a few short years being those heroes. I was watching the Noah and Tyler Dang and all these guys passing out their wristbands at the game and talking to the kids, and I'm like, this is a tradition that needs to continue, and I think it's different than anywhere else. I really do. I was just talking to Scott Wideman here on the podcast earlier tonight, and ultimately that's the conclusion we came to. I was like, there is no tradition like Rio Hondo Prep Football. It's no knock on Charter Oak, Bishop Amat, Damien, any great tradition out there, but the Rio Hondo just tradition of youth and underdog and family and all those things, Robert. I mean, I just can't find it anywhere else. Everyone preaches something, but I don't know. I think the reality of the Rio Hondo tradition just speaks volumes.
yeah, and having the Care Youth League system is a big part of it. That the kids are involved, that the high school is involved in coaching, younger kids. Yeah, it all ties together, and then those kids eventually become, Rio Hondo students and CIF champions at some point.
Mm, that's absolutely the goal. And these past 3 years, man, Santa Monica, Warren, Redondo Union. I mean, you and I, a lot of times at these games, we'll just look at each other and we're out of adjectives. We are out of ways to
Yeah,
describe what we're
totally.
seeing. We've watched a lot of Rio football, man. These last 3 years, are they unprecedented? Are they? I mean, 2012 was an amazing team. I think before these last 3 years, that team, hands down, man, one of the best ever. The run this current team has been on has been indescribable.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, as you know, by listening to the reporters and people trying to figure it all out. Like it's just, I mean, like you said, you and I sit there and we watch it, and you can't, you're out of words, right? Like there's no reason, explanation why they should be winning every game by as much as they're winning, and yeah, they just somehow seem to do it every week. It doesn't matter who they're playing, just like, yeah, bring on whoever you want.
It's incredible that they're playing for so many of us in the past. I don't know that my team would ever beat a Charter Oak or whatever, but it's just
Yeah.
nice to think that when you're going through it, you're like, we want to play the local schools, but being an SGV guy like yourself. And I mean, who are some of your teammates at Rio, by the way? Who are some of the people that the fans out there might know?
Well, Harry Joe he was in my class, so he would have been one of my teammates. Cole Barrett, man, who else was on our team? Robert Cofresi. I mean, Dave, Carson, and Heaton, and Randy. Those guys were like 1 year older than me, I believe. So they were like I played my junior sophomore year there, so they were juniors, I think, at the time. So yeah, it was kind of that group of people.
So Randy, a year or so older, he's relevant because he's offensive coordinator right now.
Right.
I know he had probably a dry sense of humor, and Randy's Randy, but like I don't know, to see him now being a guy you were in high school with, call these plays and put these kids in amazing positions in 2012 and now. I mean, that's got to be fun for you in a sense.
Yeah, I do remember Randy, and I was obviously coached by Mr. Johnson, his dad, great coach, and yes, definitely had that dry sense of humor and
He
maybe a
sure
little
did.
sarcasm. Couple of moments that stand out in high school. One was a baseball moment. I think it was my sophomore year. Again, like I was like this big in high school, right? I weighed I think 105 pounds my freshman year. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so not the greatest football player, but I remember my sophomore year as a baseball player, and I think we were playing Sherman Indian, right? And I don't remember why. For some reason, I had to start that game. Somebody might have been hurt or something, and I had a really good game. I think I might have got 3 hits, right? And I ended up at third base, maybe in 2 consecutive innings, or I don't know. And I think Mr. Johnson comes up to me after the second time I'm there, and he's like, "You're the last person I ever expected to see here twice in a game." I was like, I was like, I don't know. That was just great. I was like, yeah. That's right. Here I am. I'm like on third base twice.
It's
I
fantastic.
don't know. Yeah, 3 hits in the game or something. And then the other moment I remember, and it also ties into Randy, again, not being the greatest of football players, and I think it was maybe our last game, my sophomore year, and he, I think they were trying to get everybody involved in the game, right? And so I think we scored a touchdown. There was like a 2 point conversion, and he just looks at me. He says, "Morales, this one's coming to you." And sure enough, like I don't know, the pass comes right to me, hits me right in the books. I got 2 points, and that's that was my RHP Cares football history right there. 2 point conversion.
Randy Johnson calling his shots
Yep.
even back then. That's
Yep.
fantastic. That's what's coming to you, Morale. I can just see Randy saying that. I can see Randall Johnson making those comments to you.
Yep.
I hope a lot of the alumni are laughing there because they know that's
Yep.
exactly who Mr. Johnson was. So,
Totally.
Robert, we were having. It's just fun for me to like the circle that this is like. Real football's been going on 60 years, but there's so many constants there's been some changes, but I don't. When you look at Rio football now, you have to be able you have to be able to envision it back in the 80s and the 70s. Do you see, obviously it's 11 man and higher levels, but do you see real football from the 70s and 80s in this current team with a lot of the things they still do?
Uh, yeah, it's very similar. I mean, scheme wise, it's the same. I mean, it's the same. It's always been the same, right? Ever since you start playing there. But what I think is the real constant is the kids, right? The boys, like just the way they carry themselves, who they are, their cares. And people often ask what that is. And I just think that is probably the most important part of the whole thing, right? I mean, yes, we have great football players, but really you want to come out of there with like, them being great men, not great football players, right? I mean, yes, that's important. Sure, you go play 4 more years somewhere, but there's like more to it than just playing football. And I think that is really what Rio Hondo is really about is that.
Oh yeah, no, that's well said. And being a father, sending your son, was that kind of a no brainer for you? That
No
and
brainer.
all the reasons you just said why you sent Christian
Yep.
to Rio.
Yeah, he started when he was 5 years old. I think we tried at 4, and he wasn't. They weren't going to let him play football at 4. So yeah, 5 years old, he was playing. Uh, yeah, went through care the whole time, and started at Pearl, and then junior high at Rio Hondo, and then yeah, graduated from there in 2013.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, he's turned into a great young man, and yeah, like so many great Rio Hondo graduates and alumni out there that have continued being a care. We're all once a care, always a care. So, Robert, I think we should look at this documentary right now. That the trailer that was made in 2012, the trailer that will live in infamy, and we can ask
Hopefully,
you
be
some.
finished.
Yeah, we can ask you some questions. And hey, to your credit, like you said earlier, this real program, it is like a never-ending story. So just when you think, oh, that'd be the perfect ending, win, lose, whatever, there's still more story to write, to document. So yeah, when
Right.
do you start this? When do you restart it? But anyway,
Yeah.
let's pull up the screen and take a look at it. It's about a 2.5 minute trailer that while I'm pulling it up, man, how much time goes into a 2.5 minute trailer, by the way? That seems like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. There's countless hours of footage is really the
Oof.
problem is that there's I don't even know how many. There might be 100 hours maybe of footage that has to be gone through to find the right clips, and it's logging all of it and remembering what someone said in an interview did maybe 3 or 4 months ago and bringing it back up. And yeah, I mean it was a lot. And the music on this is I think it was like the Friday Night Lights had just kind of come out, and so I kind of just grabbed the music from that to throw over it. And yeah, it's kind of what I ended up with in hopes of finishing it that year, but it never happened. And I think it says at the end, summer of 2013 maybe, but yeah, that didn't quite happen.
We could just, erase one of those, and yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's pull it up now. Let's give it a look. And for those watching on YouTube, and hopefully, it may be a little choppy or whatever, but hopefully you get the point, and we can also put it out on social media for you guys to watch. But let's pull it up now and look at the documentary trailer from 2012 that is unfinished for now, but looking to be finished in the very near future.
I see.
This ultimate American expression. It's this struggle, and life's a struggle, and there's just so many parallels between football and life.
You have to respect your opponent, and you have to come and you have to play your best regardless of who you're playing against. Because the game's really not about them, it's about you and how you perform.
With Rio Hondo Prep, they're a team that, they are going to line up, they do what they do, they're good at what they do, and they're going to play hard, they're going to run to the football, and they're not going to make a lot of mistakes.
Playing over there on a Friday night with the Rio having the black uniforms and the black pants and black helmets, sometimes kids can get a little intimidated.
Rio Hondo Preps is just kind of a different monster. You cannot fully grasp what they do or the level that they play at.
We wanted to play the best teams, and looking at Rio Hondo Prep and what they had done, it was a team that we definitely wanted on our schedule.
If you really examine Rio Hondo football, you can understand what the school is all about.
Football is really a measure of will and the measure of how determined are you to be successful at what you're going to do. Those character traits and those values that you learn in high school, they define you as a man. It's an amazing experience, and it's an amazing honor to be a Care.
Okay, that's the trailer from 2012. Robert Morales, well done. Got to give Jeff Fairley some credit there. Ken Drain,
Right.
some
The
really
coaches
powerful.
We had a mission prep coach who gave us his time, and we went and interviewed him up there in San Luis Obispo. We had the Boron coach was on there, and I think the poly coach. So yeah, I was able to get a lot of really good interviews with some of the coaches we played against, and I think there's even an interview somewhere with Aram Talegian that had never made the cut there, but was going to be in the documentary at some point. So there's an interview with him. But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Well, he's available. I know that we can bring him on to do a little bit more, and that's it makes more sense now when I interviewed other coaches. You were always one of the first guys. I said, man, I love that interview with the opposing coach and stuff. It's like you were doing it before I was, really, in a sense. So, I mean, if that doesn't get your juices flowing a little bit, I mean, I don't know what will.
Yeah,
every single time, it hits all the right parts with the current team, of course, but it shows that there is a tradition here. It's not just one thing I have with Aram and Tarek and Fred and all these guys talking this rise from Rio Hondo, and I'm kind of like, Robert, this has been going on for decades, maybe in a different type of level, but this has always been there.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the 2012 team could probably tell you that they would have loved to have played any of the SGV teams if they had the chance. I mean, they played Arcadia, I think, the opening game of the 2012 season and beat them pretty easily. Yep. But yeah, there was always that feeling that, just give us a chance to play someone. And yeah, we would beat them. And I kind of think they would.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. And I think that's what my message is to like the current parents, really, is like what your kids are doing is amazing. But there's a reason so many of us are so passionate at these games, because these kids are doing things that we want, likely, obviously, way better than me and you and all this and that. But they're doing things that we all wanted. They speak for us. It's like giving us a voice in a sense here, the past few years, and the tradition of Rio Hondo, like we said, I think it's second to none, and it's not just something that recently happened. It's always been there, although the last few years at the highest of
Yeah.
levels.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's really fun to watch, Robert. So what's the plan? What are your thoughts? I mean, just to put you on the spot here, we've shown the trailer, we've talked about it, 13 years. What's the current plan
Yep.
of the operation?
Uh, I guess if they promise not to win another one next year, I should probably finish it up, right? Unless they, plan on going four-peat, then I guess, I might have to wait another year. But yeah, definitely got to get on it. I've definitely reached out to some people. Hopefully Ken Lee can help me with some editing at some point.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. I feel it.
I feel it too. And there's plenty of sports documentaries out there, especially, high school football. Friday Night Lights is a big thing. Do you think there's I mean, it would be great for just the Rio community, but do you think there's a desire for a project like this to be seen to
Ab-
the public?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is it's an American story. It's not, it's the little guy, right? Yeah, I mean, it's classic American story, right? I think it would be great on Netflix, on HBO, on any of the streaming services. I think they would eat it up. Yeah, that I'm confident in. Like, I don't think I think once it's made, I don't think getting it out to people to be seen, I don't think that will be the problem. I think the problem right now is just getting it in the can, as they say in the film industry.
Well, I have all the confidence in the world in you, and whatever you need from me, like I said, I'm here to help. You've been a great help to me, and would you say, Robert, that uh, the podcast had? I mean, did that have anything to do with kind of an interest, a new interest, or kind of a revised interest in kind of the
Oh
Rio
yeah,
football and everything?
absolutely. I mean, yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, I get to watch. I wish it was like a post game show, like right after the game, because I'm just like, I'm hungry to get that info right away. I have to wait a whole day for you to do your interviews with players and Coach Carson. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's great now with all of the social media and the guys on the spaces and talking football. Like, it was never like that before, and now there's just so much interest in it. And you get the coaches on and players on from different teams, and even if it's not a team you play or a team that you're close to or whatever, it's still just great to hear these kids. Some of them are phenomenal kids, Baldwin Park and La Puente and like wherever they're from, like really great kids. The kids from Lacerna, like just amazing.
Oh, Danny Nunez, what a story
Yeah,
that was. Him coming
right.
up to us out of nowhere and just saying, we're fans. What an amazing kid that was. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. Rio, obviously, but there's so many stories within the game, within the season that I think just, hey, let's give them a platform in a sense. So, do you have any favorite like guests or interviews you've heard over the years?
Well, I always like when you have other coaches on. I think that those are probably the best. I really like the Sure coach. I love that he was on twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those are the best. I think, as far as like a future of the podcast, like I would love to see more of that and, always have the Rio Hondo kind of angle, but, widening the audience to like include other schools, yeah, I mean, that would definitely broaden the audience for sure. And it's great to get those interviews. Having, guys like Aramon or Tarek or whatever, those are also great. I mean, it's just, uh, but the other coaches for sure are the way to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And at first, I was a little kind of hesitant, but the fans really seem to like that stuff. And yeah, the coaches have been so receptive to it. I always tell them I'm not trying to get any secrets from you or anything. It's just let's talk about your perception of Rio. It's really fun to talk to him after the game because, like Coach MLK Coach McMahon's, he had never heard of Rio before, and kind of how we do things is different. And so that was fun to kind of hear. It's nice to hear that our perception of who we are is being shown to other teams and other communities.
Right. I mean, just the story that Mark told a couple of days ago about the uh, Redondo coach coming into the locker room. I mean, that's just I've never heard of that. I don't think that's maybe it's happened before. I know if it happens all the time, but it's not something that I've heard a losing coach come in and do. Like it just speaks to the team and into the organization and the system and all of it.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. I think I'm always preaching on here, like, it's not just winning, it's not just being successful, it's the way in which you play. And we see so
Right.
much of the craziness in, 2025, unsportsmanlike uh, conduct, culture that we're in. I think it's more important now than ever about being a care and playing the game the real way. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes across. I think other teams see it. I think, the fans see it on the other side. Uh, yeah, there's definitely a care way to play football. And I think that's what leads to winning success.
Yeah, it's the constant success of the program. So, Robert, we look forward to this documentary, man, whenever it gets made. And again, it's a never-ending story. So, you pick your poison.
Right.
Hey, in a couple years, if there's a second documentary, that's fine
The
too. We'll just
sequel. Yeah,
yeah, we'll keep it going, man. What do you think?
that sounds great.
Finally, these hopefully 2 weeks, but Santa Fe Christian, is it kind of special for you to be going back down there, knowing your son played down there his final game?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to go with me. Hopefully he does. But yeah, uh, yeah, it's great. Hopefully it's not too
Oh,
foggy.
yeah, yeah, that was crazy, right? 13 years ago. I was like, what is this? We couldn't tackle
Yeah.
that one guy, and oh my
Man,
goodness.
that
So
quarterback, right? Like he was running all over the field. He was so good.
that
Yeah,
option guy, yeah. Pretty cool. We got back-to-back celebrity teams or whatever, celebrity
yeah, Drew
opponents.
Brees, right? Yeah,
Drew Brees, an assistant coach, his son, a great wide receiver. So that's kind of fun, adding to the drama, adding some juice to the documentary, maybe.
yeah. I mean, yeah, last week, yeah, Pete Carroll was there, I think, right? Is that the
Pete
yeah,
Carroll was in attendance. Yep.
yeah, pretty cool.
Man, you mentioned Mark. Just two final things I want to ask you about Mark and then Rio Hondo Prep Football, just in general, why it's special. But if you could first, your relationship with Mark over the years and just what I don't know if he continues to impress you, amaze you, however you want to say it. But just what you saw back then, kind of what you see now, and just tying it all together.
Uh, yeah, I think it's just the vision is really what it is. And that's what I saw back then, and that's kind of what's still happening now, right? It's just this vision of what the program could be, right? And I think that's kind of what we talked about, and uh, I think that's what's happening now, and it's just a testament to him to that, that he can actually execute that and make it happen. And it's his dream, it's his vision. I know that he's got great coaches and great players around him, a great system that kids learn from when they're 5 years old, and there's all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to have a person that brings it all together, and it couldn't be anybody but Mark. Like he's just, yeah, he's the perfect person to lead this team and this, yeah, all of it. I mean, he's RHP through and through.
Amen to that. Yes, sir. And it's especially nice, seeing him succeed after his absence, whatever that was,
Yeah,
week 3.
game 2, I think, or game, yeah,
Yeah,
second
we all
week.
felt that. We all felt that, and you almost forget about it in a sense. And it's
Yeah.
great to have him back where he belongs on that sideline. So, our fearless leader, HCMC. Finally, Robert, Rio Hondo Prep Football. If you had to sum it up, why it's special, why it is sacred, whether you're talking to a stranger or you're talking to a Rio alum from 50 years ago, what is it about this program that stands out and is so different than others?
Yeah, it's a hard one to really explain. It's a sense of community. It's small town football. I guess the closest thing I tell people, like people ask me why I'm going to a high school football game for a team in Arcadia. I mean, it's the only thing I can say is it's kind of like I imagine, and I don't even know this for sure, but it's like, you're growing up in a small Texas town, and this is just what you do on Friday night, right? You go and watch the local team, and it's who you've watched your whole life, and you will continue to watch. And especially if you went there and then your kids went there, and it's just kind of this legacy that is built. And who knows, maybe one day I'll have a grandkid who will go there. I mean, it would just keep going, and I think that's kind of what it is. It's just a sense of pride, uh, And again, I think that goes back to the way uh, the boys, carry themselves, or anybody, the girls too, just being a care, like what that is about. And you were part of that, and just carrying that legacy forward. I think that's what keeps bringing people back.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robert Morales, for coming on the show tonight and for chatting with me once again about Rio football. Last week, you and I were at the Redondo Union game. I don't know, 4 or 5 hours early, whatever it
I
was.
think
Scott,
so.
Scott, we are those guys. We are like, all right, what time's the game? We're gonna get there way too early, just
Right.
because. So
Yeah, I would have gotten there earlier, but I think it would have been weird if I had a sleeping bag and was, waiting for the. Yeah, that would have been. I try to hold
so
myself back. 5 hours is as early as I need to be there.
hey, you know what? Tell me everything.
Yeah,
Like I get it. I get it. Some people are like, wait, what do you guys? I'm like, you don't get it. That's fine. I can't
yeah.
sit still. That's why we need podcast content throughout the week,
Content
right?
every day. Every day we need something new.
Every day. Great articles out today. There'll be more all week. And Robert Morales, appreciate all you do for Rio as well. And for
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for everything you do. The show is great. I look forward to every episode. Yeah, can't wait to see who you have on next.
let's go. San Diego County, Saturday night, Rio Hondo at Santa Fe Christian. Once again, let's hope this one turns out a little bit better than 2012. Robert Morales, great having you on. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Robert Morales, for coming on the podcast. I've wanted to have him on for quite some time, as he and I have chatted Rio ball over the years, just getting us ready for the state regional game here, and thought it was fitting that we had him on. He and I were cleaning up at the field, last ones to leave really at Redondo on Saturday, and just like, hey man, what do you think? Let's get you on. He's like, really? Right now? I'm like, yeah, right now. I got to get together some more guests here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing from Scott Wideman and Robert Morales here on the Charge to Keep podcast to get us ready to go for the state regional down in San Diego against Santa Fe Christian. I won't take too much more of your time, but let me break down the schools here with or just the one school, excuse me, Santa Fe Christian down in Solana Beach, San Diego area, I should say. Let's see. On August 22nd, they defeated Madison, which is a pretty good program, usually 30-20. Also defeated Valley Center 49-20, Westview 41-0, Vista 34-14. This just says Patriot Christian, I think 28-14. Escondido Charter 35-0. Army Navy, which I think Rio Hondo played at one point back in the day, 35-20. Classical Academy 42-7. This is in league play now, it looks like. La Jolla Country Day 42-7. The high school of I think an 8-man football. Fun fact here, Rashawn Salam, who played at Colorado University, 8-man football back in the day, La Jolla Country Day. Rashawn Salam, the Heisman Trophy winner for the Colorado Buffaloes. Just a fun fact when people said, oh, 8-man football, this and that. Anyway, Bishops 28-9, St. Augustine 17-9, Scripps Ranch 34-20, and Steel Canyon 44-41 in the championship game. So only, let's see, 3 championship rounds in the San Diego section. Their last regular season game was Halloween. There was a bye for 1 week, and then there's been 3 rounds of playoffs against St. Augustine, Scripps Ranch, and Steel Canyon. I haven't really looked at the Steel Canyon game there. Let's see, it looks like it was last Friday. But 44-41 definitely gave up some points. It looks like the Eagles put up points, not at a huge high rate, but in general, the 20s, 30s. So they can score. Obviously, 41, giving up 41 points in a championship game is sticks out to me a little bit. That's kind of high, but when you're putting up 44, hey, I guess you're putting all your emphasis into offense there. And so something's got to give on Saturday night down in Carlsbad in San Diego with the Rio Hondo defense really tightening up here in the last 3 weeks, not really allowing much of anything from any of these playoff level teams. So I think if the Cares can limit and frustrate the Eagles a little bit, that they have a strong advantage in this game as far as the Rio running game. I think we saw last week, we wish Noah well, but without him, there's other options as far as guys who can run the ball. I think the Rio running game, I thought we saw some great pass plays early on where guys were open and we just didn't hit them. And I'm confident that, Yannick Diaz will hit those guys at the right time this week. We'll make some catches that may be tough catches, but we got to make them in these type of games. So I think Coach Randy Johnson will have this squad ready offensively and defensively with head coach Mark Carson, who is the defensive coordinator, and Coach Rocky Seto, AJ Corsini, Ed Drain, everyone on that side of the ball. That staff has just been phenomenal and what they're doing with the Rio defense. So let's see. Balin Breeze is number 4. Obviously, the son of Drew Brees. He's a wide receiver, and Drew Brees is coaching the quarterbacks here at Santa Fe Christian. So they're going to have some good leadership, some good momentum options, whatever you want to say. If you're getting coached up by an NFL Hall of Famer, in a sense that I think you're going to have a good grasp of the offense and vision and this and that. So Rio, I think ultimately, if I have to just break it down again, looking at stats, looking at the last 3 weeks of Rio defense, Rio just has to prevent the big play. We saw the big play with Bo Osmus and the 99-yarder. That was, a missed tackle or two, and you just can't have that happen. So hold on for dear life, guys. When you got a guy in space, get him on the ground, or at least hold on. Guys are coming. So you can't allow the big play. I can't foresee what I've seen from the Rio defense the past few weeks, seeing a team consistently go up and down the field on them. Now, that could change. Really good quarterback, good scheme. If a team is able to run the ball on the Kares, which no one has really been able to. I know 160-something yards technically with Redondo Union, but most of that came on one play. The Rio defense has been phenomenal, especially in the running game. And so if the Kares can get some stops, I would say 3 4th down stops. We got 4 last week, and then 2 turnovers. Any combination of, I'll say 4. Coach Carson always predicts 3 turnovers, man. 3 turnovers, we win. I'm saying 2 4th down stops and 2 turnovers. Any combination of that, if it's 4 or more, Rio's winning this football game. That's just how I feel about it. I'm a little biased, of course, but I think what I saw with the Rio running game, mixing in different guys, that seems to be hitting on all cylinders, and the offensive line has been playing very, very well. So let's see if the Kares can keep that going, moving forward. Again, I think we could see some pass plays hit here and there as well. So I think the Kares offense has a lot of options, and Kares defensively has been very consistent, not just bending and not breaking, but being very aggressive with turnovers, sacks, 4th down stops. And I want to see more of that from them this Saturday down in San Diego. If you remember last year's regional at Poway High School down in San Diego, very close game, 7-7, most of that first half. The Kares got up to 14-7, I think. Or maybe they were even trailing 14-7, whatever it was. I think it was 14-7. They took a lead right before half, ended up with 2 more touchdowns late to go up 28-7, gave up a late touchdown, 28-14. But I will say Poway had a very good defensive game plan against Rio Hondo that night. And I would bet that game film is floating around somewhere down around the Solana Beach area, down in the San Diego area. So I think the Kares haven't been stopped at all offensively here in the season and the postseason, but there will come a time when they're asked to do other things. And so I don't know if that will be Santa Fe Christian in a sense, but I think they're ready to play. They're going to come after the Kares. They don't want to lose this game. Obviously they want to get back to a state championship game, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. 2 good teams. 14-0 against 13-0. Are you kidding me? Where else would you rather be than in Carlsbad on a Saturday night, or watching it, of course, on the NFHS network? Going to be a great football game. 2 champions going at it, man. That's one thing I love about the state playoffs is everyone's a champion. Everyone's won a section. LA, Southern, City, San Diego, Central, Northern, doesn't matter. You're a section champ. You mean business. So I think where the Kares win this game is ultimately continuing to be more physical than the other team. These guys may not be as big, so maybe there's some hesitancy from the Kares to not play at that, but just that utmost intensity and energy. But they better bring it. They better bring it and show this team again that Rio Hondo plays more physical than other teams do. So let's be prepared for that and go out and hit them hard, hit them often, hit them all night long, and run the rock with authority like the Kares often do and bring home another regional championship. We'll see you on Saturday in Carlsbad. All right, to wrap things up, the explanation point, nothing really too major here, but just something as a reminder. I did notice this, and someone else on the sideline actually noticed this as well, but you don't see this too often. Again, the chain crew, and again, I'm not here to bash Redondo Union or whatever. It was just an observation, and I've interviewed our great chain crew, a couple years ago from Mr. Johnson, Rick Johnson, and Mr. Van Cleve, and others, Mike Lang, of course. And talking to those guys, they understand there's certain standards and etiquette. You got it. If you want to do the change, you got to do it a certain way. So there was some, we'll call it a little bit of cheering, a little bit of hey, chain crew guys yelling out to the kids on the field, hey, watch this, hey, watch that. And I kept an eye on it so that it wasn't anything giving away any secrets or anything, but just in general, as a member of an extension of the officiating crew, as a chain crew, you're not supposed to say much. And no matter how bad something is, no matter how much vested interest you might have, you need to do your job. And if you can't be quiet, can't keep quiet, well, that's not the job for you. And so I just want to applaud our chain crew that I know does a great job and doesn't, even when the official might be wrong about something, you got to move the chains according to them and act professionally at all times. So I'm not saying it was something really over the line in the championship game, anything to really write home about. I didn't need to notify Coach Carson of it or anything like that, but I did notice that there was a little bit more cheering than should, or, hey, communicating to players on the sideline or from the sideline to the field than should have been going on in general, but it didn't rise to the effect of, I think it needed to be an issue. And what I also want to say to our fans who, again, I don't know how many fans will be down on the field, but look, when the officials want you back, especially from the 20 to the goal line or the 10 to the goal line, I know sometimes it's like annoying, like you feel like you're back and everyone's like, he's like, get back behind the blue line. I got to tell you, any run towards that pylon, it gets crowded fast. And as an official, you want to be able to back way off that pylon. I'm talking like 7-8 yards to receive the play and not have to worry about camera people or this and that. So it's a lot of preventative officiating as you get down towards the goal line. I know it gets crowded down there and you feel like you're out of the way. Well, if you feel you're out of the way, back up some more. That's why when I'm down by the goal line, I'm on the track even. I'm just back way up because a sweep that comes that way, it gets crowded and uncomfortable very, very fast. And if you're an official having to receive that, keep in mind now with 7-man mechanics, we had 2 officials in that area. So everything's compacted. So just keep a positive attitude. I know a lot of our photographers were kind of like looking like, wait a minute, I am back. It's like, no, a little bit more down there by the goal line, just to keep things nice and clean. So those are a few little explanation points for the state regional game as we head down to San Diego this Saturday night. As a reminder, 6 o'clock start, guys. 6 o'clock, not 7. 6 o'clock start. So move everything up by an hour. I know most of you try to get there by 5, so I don't know if that means 4 or when the gates would open, but 6 o'clock start down at Carlsbad High School against Santa Fe Christian. Carlsbad High School. I looked at the Google Maps and stuff. It looks like a pretty good venue. Okay seating, whatever. Last week we dealt with it, and so wherever Rio plays, we'll be ready to go, right? So we'll see you guys down there bright and early or dusk and early. How would you say that? Dawn and early? I don't even know. It's been a long day, but we'll see you down there for the state regional. Only the 4th time in Rio's history that the Kares have played in this round. So hope to see you there, guys who are in the high desert or low desert or San Diego, San Bernardino, Riverside, wherever you're at. Let's make this trip. And I won't talk about the following week's games, but they would be in Southern California, a lot more local, we'll say. And again, I won't cross that bridge until we come to it. First things first, Rio Hondo Prep at Santa Fe Christian, game being played at Carlsbad High School, 6 o'clock kickoff. Don't forget. That'll wrap up our show today, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for going on this journey with me that started in August. And each and every pregame show, I just try to come up with something, and little intro, little music, little theme, if you will. And it just kind of, at this point, the Kares have done the 3-peat. They're hungry for that state championship. They want it so bad after falling short by 1 yard last year. Well, you can't get there until you go handle business in San Diego. So that frontal assault, that ocean assault, much like you know, the imagery of, I don't know, D-Day or any amphibious assault. A lot more serious with that stuff. They're just symbolisms, of course, symbolisms that I'm throwing out there. But get ready to go, hit it hard, run hard, and get up that beach, man. Get up that beach, and let's make some great memories, just like we have the past 4 weeks. It's been a privilege and an honor bringing you the podcast. I hope I get to do it just one more time. Keep my December busy, Rio Hondo Prep. Keep it busy. I wouldn't have it any other way, especially during the busiest time of the year with the Christmas season upon us. So I got my red on, but then I think of it, oh man, they're red. I shouldn't have worn red. These are the things that happen, guys. It is what it is. All right, that'll wrap things up. And as always, guys, your friendly reminder, always be humble in victory and gracious in defeat, because we always have a charge to keep. We'll see you in San Diego Saturday night.